What is this called?
I'm not sure.
The gatehouse.
You seen Wendy?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay. Thank you. We just put up a new fence that I can just sort of lean on here. It's very nice of them. Beautiful day. So everybody from the US?
Yeah. Almost. I think so.
I think 4 people from the group
From
are from
Canada.
Canada.
Welcome to our Canadian friends. You get a lot of Canadians here. Yeah. Our biggest visitors, US, probably French, German, then probably Canadians and English then. Yeah. So, welcome to Glendalough. Okay. You're in Glendalough, County Wicklow. You know that, yeah? County Wicklow. It's the most beautiful county in Ireland. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Wicklow is known as the Garden of Ireland. So that tells a story. Okay, Glendalough. The name Glendalough, it's an English name. Centuries ago, all the town name, place names were all anglified by the English here back then. And so Glendalough, it was originally in Irish, it was called Glendalough, the Valley of the Two Lakes. That's what that means. There's 2 lakes above the monastery where we're going today. You can see the cliff face above them there. On that cliff face is a cave called, we know it as St. Kevin's Bed, and it's where a man called St. Kevin lived in the 6th century. Okay, St. Kevin. We don't go to Kevin's Bed anymore. 21st century health and safety and all that, and I don't know if you can all swim, but sure, we won't go over. Now, so St. Kevin arrived here in the 6th century. He was a hermit, he was a recluse, he was a man in touch with nature, he loved animals. Anybody here of St. Francis of Assisi? Yes. St. Kevin is the Irish Francis of Assisi. He was in love with animals. So, as I say, he was a hermit and a recluse, very intelligent man, but the one thing he wasn't good at was being a hermit and recluse, because he had thousands of followers who convinced him to build a monastery here in Glendalough. That was in the 6th century, up at the upper lake. In the 8th century, the monastery moved down to the site where it is today. There's nothing from St. Kevin's time on the monastery site. There's nothing from the 8th century maybe, apart from a few bodies, maybe something like that, you know. But the buildings and monuments you will see today are all roughly about 1,000 years old. They date from the 10th to the 12th century. It was a very, very important place of learning. It was a very, very important place for trade, farming, and so on, dealing with the local community. And it was also, as I say, learning, and also a very holy place. They did three things here: they studied, they prayed, and they worked. That was the three things. That's all they did all day here, the monks. When they were qualified, when they became, if you like, qualified monks or whatever, a lot of them ventured abroad then, around the 6th century, 7th century, 8th century. It was around that time we got our name, the land of saints and scholars, because these monks went to Britain, France, Austria, Italy, parts of Germany, parts of Belgium, and built monasteries over there that still stand today. Back here in Glendalough, as I say, it was a very important place, very wealthy place. It became a very wealthy place, and then of course what happened then, it was raided many times. Over the centuries, the Vikings raided it here, the Anglo-Normans, the local tribes. King Richard III from England burnt the cathedral in 1398, and that was really the beginning of the end for the monastery. It sort of went downhill after that. It was declared a ruin in the 16th century, and since then people have buried their dead here. It is a graveyard. It's still a working graveyard. The oldest gravestone we can read is 1697. There are many much older than that, and the last burial was here just in February, I think it was, just gone, this year. So there's still a number of people who are entitled to be buried here. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of where we're going. So we're going to head across the bridge here, across the car park, and we'll go up to the left. We'll go to the gateway of the monastery and we'll have a little chat there, okay? You still telling lies? Oh man, how's it going? All right.
You forgot one thing.
Yeah.
Drinking.
You know, don't cheap that stuff. You didn't say it, huh? Yeah.
Beautiful. There's a tea, food.
The water bottle
From the tour to
the hotel water
hold
thing.
it.
Where did you put it?
Put it in my backpack.
Oh, okay. I thought it was in mine. Bob needed some water.
Oh. I forget to give to him. It haven't been open.
I never filled up my bottle.
Okay.
Into the hotel?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Our guy is back there.
What?
Oh, you mean our guy?
Yeah.
The guy? Oh, he's back into his car.
No, the guy talking to us.
That's the yellow one is our
Oh,
guy.
oh, okay, thank you. I got confused.
Oh, this is a,
Oh, yeah, you're recording, right?
this is a beautiful.
Yeah, so if we just gather around, and maybe just leave the gap that people are smoking down, and we'll be grand.
Chicken throat. Chicken throat. Listen.
Thank you.
Guard of honor.
Turn this way.
Yeah. I think we're all there. So this is the gateway to the monastery. It is the only surviving gateway to a monastery in the whole of Ireland. So if you do go to another monastery, ask to see their gateway. They won't be able to show you one. It's really the only ones to have one. Made of two types of stone. We have mica schist here, and this is Wicklow granite, all local stone, obviously enough. If you look carefully, you will see in the joints, there's no mortar, cement, or anything. Both arches are held together by these keystones. There's pressure holding them two arches together. So they've been there since the 11th century. So I think it works. It could be good for today anyway. There is a guy locally who still does arches that way. Does them all over the world, and he says that when he gets the frame up and then stones all into place, and then he pulls away the frame and it just sort of falls into place, he says that's the most tense moment you can have, waiting on it to fall into place. You know. So there was a gatehouse above the gateway back in the day, and there are still antennae sticking out from the walls here. You can see them protruding from the walls. So that was a house. So there was a house. When you're back, if you go back into the visitor centre, we've two models down there. One in Lego. We were all standing around. That was Lego. 44,000 pieces Lego. And then there's another one inside in the exhibition. And if you have a look at them, you will see that there was a house. There's a house here, and that's where obviously he would have lived and that. So he would have decided who came in and who left, because it was also a pilgrim destination for pilgrims. Because back in medieval times, the main destination for pilgrims in this part of the world was Rome. So, but not everybody could get there on with no cheap flights. Back then, no Ryanair or anything like that. So, likes of Glendalough were deemed destinations for pilgrims. But if you did one pilgrimage to Rome, you were guaranteed a place in heaven. But you had to do 7 pilgrimages to Glendalough to be guaranteed a place in heaven. Okay? So, these are 1/7 of the way to heaven. I'm grand, I'm here every day. I can do what I want.
So you're good then.
From here on in, I can do what I want. So we still have there is 2 pilgrim ways come through here at the moment. The Wicklow Way, goes to County Dublin, County Wexford, and St. Kevin's Way, which goes from, there's a village up the road here, Hollywood, County Wicklow, not to be confused with Hollywood, County Down, or Hollywood, County California. But the man from Hollywood, County Wicklow, his name escapes, I think Dennis Quick, emigrated to America and founded a race course in California and called the race course after his local village, Hollywood Racetrack. And that's where Hollywood, California comes from. Just up the road. I think much brings you up that way, so have a look out. You even have the Hollywood sign up on the hill. Little small one, yeah. Okay, so people, as I say, coming in and out of here, maybe even looking for sanctuary. Maybe they were trying to get away from the outside world, they were persecuted, maybe religiously or politically or everything. So once they came in here, they were safe, okay? When they passed this stone here. Can you all see this stone? This is the sanctuary stone. Now it's not very easy to see on a good day, but there is a cross etched down here. See that? Yeah. So once you pass that stone, you're safe. So all you guys are safe. You guys a bit old to Okay. Okay, so that's the gateway. So we're going to go up to the round tower now. So we'll pass by these two pillars and then we'll turn right.
Oh, like a Halloween thing.
Oh, you should take a picture of that.
His brother Patrick
But it's Kavanaugh. That's
died
Fred's. Fred and Don.
back in
His name was Kavanaugh.
1835. Died in 1835.
Got it. Yeah, send it to Beth.
We're here for the round tower, okay? It's not a gravestone, but it's a beautiful example of the ability of the monks back in the 10th and 11th century to build something like this, and it's still standing 1,000 years later. I don't think we've any towers being built today. You won't be
No.
here in 1,000 years.
That's why.
It's 100 feet high. And the
100
circumference at the bottom is 50 foot. So it's exactly a ratio of 1 to 2.
Wow.
There were 6 floors on it, with a window in each floor going around clockwise around the tower, and then 4 windows at the top facing the 4 cardinal points, north, south, east and west. There is only 1 floor left in the tower. They would have 6 floors, as far as you know, wooden floors and then just ladders sort of thing. But somebody had to go up the top of that 5 times a day and ring a bell. So there's only 1 floor, and that's at the front door there. That's the front door. It's about 11 feet off the ground. Why is the front door so high off the ground? Okay. Now, when I was going to school, which is not today or yesterday, we were taught the reason the door is so high on the round tower is because when the site was being attacked, everybody would run up the ladder, pull up the ladder, close the door and hide in the tower till the bad lads went. But if you think about it, there was a good chance the lads coming this way might have had a ladder with them. So that would have been no good. The reason the door is so high off the ground is purely structural. Any lower and it would destabilise the tower because the foundation only goes 3 foot under the ground. So that's pure. We like to think that it was defensive reasons, but no. The main reason, the main function for the tower was a bell tower. It was a bell tower. In Irish, it's known as Cleagchock Bell House. So that was the main reason for the tower. The front door also faces southeast, which is towards Jerusalem. So everything for a reason. It's in the northwest corner of the site. If you go to other monasteries and you have a round tower, it will be in the northwest corner of the site. Okay. Now, as I say, the site was attacked many times. The Vikings came here on at least 4 occasions, and some of the proof we have of that is in 1962 in a place called Roskilde in Denmark. There were some Viking longboats discovered, and the largest longboat among the group, when they did all their radiocarbon testing and everything on it, they found that the timber used for that boat came from Glendalough Valley. Okay, so they rebuilt a replica and named it the Sea Stallion of Glendalough. So that travels around Europe with youths gone. Yeah. You know of it, yeah? The Sea Stallion of Glendalough?
I've booked for it,
Yeah.
I got it in Denmark.
Oh, there you go, yeah, there you go. So I'm telling the truth.
Ah.
I have a book on it too. It's a very famous maritime museum, Roskilde, but unfortunately I think the sea is rising and it's starting to go under it, so they're going to have to change it and maybe move it in a bit and all that, because it's built sort of out on the sea with all glass fronts, you know, but the sea is rising. But anyway, so that's...
Where was the church built? That was here, the church.
There is a number of churches.
But the one that you said was destroyed?
That's where we're going to next.
Okay, it's not right up here.
No, it's
Okay.
just down here. That's where we'll head to next. So we're going to walk towards the tower and we'll take a left and go down there and we'll go down to the cathedral, all right? Now, as we're passing the tower, you will see a hole in the side wall, right underneath where the 2 stones are, right below that. It's called a hole, foot log. But basically, you put a log in it to attach a scaffold to it. So you would attach this log. All it's used for nowadays is people put their selfie sticks in, try to get a photograph up the tower. If there's a floor, as I say, there's a floor just there at the doorway. And then what happens is, sometimes you take the selfie stick out, there's no phone. A load of phones in there.
No phone.
Yeah, people put their selfie stick in there and they pull it out. The phone doesn't come out. It falls. Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a lot. Are you put it buried down there?
What?
Or did you put it buried
Yep.
down there?
Long time ago. Ready?
Long time ago. That's a lot. It seems like the symbol is a Celtic.
What?
Celtic symbol.
Yeah, the cross.
The cross.
We're on a monastery, or we're at a monastery.
Okay.
So all of these people have been baptized and buried in holy ground.
Okay.
This is still a church. This is all holy ground.
Holy ground.
Yeah.
So this is the church.
Yeah, this is the
It
church.
was at the church. Wow.
Yeah, so this is the cathedral. This is what I was telling you, it was born by King Richard III. I keep saying the second, so that's King Richard III, 1398. So this was the cathedral, as I say, dedicated to St. Peter and St. Paul. It was built in 2 parts. This part we're standing in here, this is the nave. This was built in the 10th century, and then the chancel here was added in the 12th century, when it was a cathedral and it was the largest church in Ireland at It was joined together by this beautiful Romanesque archway. You can see the what's left of it.
Yes.
Beautiful. Imagine that back in its day when it was there. Beautiful decoration on the carvings. Now, I was talking to you down at the gateway about the two types of stone. We have it here again, this mica schist and the granite. But this in the archway, that's a different stone. There's some of it in the doorway over here, and there's also some of it in the window, the east-facing window here. That's a Neolithic limestone, which was imported from Bristol in England in the 12th century. Because the granite you cannot work with. You cannot work with these carvings, the granite and the mica schist, where this was brought in especially so we could carve it and work with it. You can imagine there would have been a beautiful timber roof on that was burnt. Would have been murals, tapestries, you know, would have been a beautiful place. The altar would have been under the east window. There's a sacristy just here on the right hand side. And then what we call an ombry, which is where we would have put the anointed oil. So that's that granite lobe here in the corner. So that's actually granite still in that where we used to wash Now you see the gravestones all around. The gravestones, there is people buried here. There's literally thousands of people buried in this site. It's probably the biggest rural graveyard in Ireland. A lot of them aren't marked. A lot of them we don't know who's in it. But there is a record of who's in a lot of the graves. These gravestones lying down here, they would have been upright. We photographs of them upright, but they were laid down, I think in the 40s and 50s, purely for sake of reform. The ones around on the walls, they were brought from inside because they were falling down. But we always say every gravestone has a story. So I'm going to tell you one little story about a gravestone. Okay? This is our favourite person in the graveyard. This is Walter Bourne. Okay? And Walter died in 1750 at the age of 106. That's a good age, isn't it? That's a good age today. Back in 1750, life expectancy was probably 40, 45 or so. Okay? The giveaway here is the date, 1750, bang in the middle of the penal laws in Ireland, when the Irish could not own land, you couldn't speak Irish, you couldn't have Catholic Mass, there was all sorts. And as I say, they could not own land. All the English landlords owned the land. They were guys that were the king, however, owed favours to. Maybe they did brave things in a battle, or maybe he just owed them money. So he would allot the land to these guys, these English landlords. They weren't really interested in owning the land, so they leased it out to the locals, and the locals worked it. Okay? But the lease you had on the land would last your lifetime. So when the head of the house died, the lease died with them. So then you had to renegotiate a new lease. So one of two things happens when you renegotiate a new lease. Price goes up, or they take the lease off you, okay? So Walter here, whose father's name was Walter Bourne as well. And when Walter Bourne Sr. died, Walter Bourne Jr. said nothing. And he took his father's date of birth. And when he died, their combined age was 106. So good old Walter. Okay? Okay, so that's a cathedral. So we're going to go back out the door here, take a left, and we'll go down St. Heaven's Cross.
Where do you go? Oh, sorry.
St. Kevin's cross. It's a Celtic cross. Now, Celtic crosses aren't unique to Ireland, but they are probably where they're most popular. Okay, you can see them all around the graveyard, and I'm sure you'll see more on your journey around Ireland. The main difference between these Celtic crosses and ones you will see in other places, and this one is the corners, the four corners are not pierced, and that's purely because, again, this is granite. This is one stone of granite. This is one rock that was somehow carved into this. It's well, it is beautiful. It's a beautiful cross. It's what you might call plain. Okay, other Celtic crosses that you would see on other sites would be very ornate. It would be carved around. It'd be stories from the Bible or Saint Patrick or something like that. And where this isn't, and that's purely because it's granite. Again, it's granite. Wicklow granite is a beautiful stone, but it's not very easy. It's not very easy to work with. Okay, so that's standing. We think this stone is probably from the 900s. So it is standing there. People say maybe St. Kevin's buried there, but we don't know where St. Kevin is buried. Okay, we will know one day, but a long time from now. There is about, at the moment, there is about 70 people still alive who are entitled to be buried in this graveyard. When that 70th person dies, 100 years later, they will have a major excavation of the site. So when your great-grandchildren are here, and my great-grandson is standing here, he might be able to go, this is where St. Kevin is buried. We know because we dug it up. But until then, we don't know where he is, okay? There was, for a time, thought that there were some relics from St. Kevin back in the 16th and 17th century in this little building here behind you. It's the priest's house, and you see that little solid window? People used to stretch in, touch these relics, and pray for miracles or whatever. So we think that's where there were some of them. When you're standing here and looking up the beautiful valley, you can see why there was a monastery here, why they picked this place. All monasteries in Ireland, when you go around, you will notice they're all in beautiful places, remote but beautiful places. This is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful day today, but no matter what day you come up here, it's peaceful and it's beautiful, okay? Now everybody gets something different from the place, you know, everybody's different beliefs and everything, but everybody will get something. Where we're going to next is my favourite place, okay? And it's this church here. This is St. Kevin's Church. It's the only one with a roof. It's a stone roof on it, so it survived, okay?
Where did the granite and the stones come from?
From the hills. From the hills, yeah. There
is still plenty of it up there, but it's too expensive now to pull it away.
What gives a person the right to be buried here? That's my question.
Yeah, okay. To be buried here, okay, the first thing you have to do is die. Okay. And the second thing is the plots are allotted to families. Okay, so if your family has a plot here and there's room in it, you can be buried into it. So when there's no more new graves, just these ones will be reopened to put people into. Okay?
That was my question.
All right?
Thank you for this. Yes.
Everybody's fascinated by graveyards. I know I myself, I know everybody is, I am myself. But I was just talking about St. Kevin's Church. It has a nickname, St. Kevin's Kitchen. Okay, it's been known as Kevin's Kitchen for centuries, all because of this bell tower on the right hand side. It's such a small bell tower, everybody thought it was a chimney, so they thought it was a kitchen, but it's not, I can tell you. It's a very, very famous church. Now it is locked up and all, can't let anybody and everybody in, health and safety and all that, but you guys aren't anybody and everybody because I have a key to get us in. Okay? Yeah. Well, no, there would be all, as you call it, caskets and wheels. But there was, somebody had electric stage and one there last year, okay, you know, so there might be an odd one for this. Yeah, so in Ireland, cremation is getting more popular and popular. Like, My father-in-law was cremated in 1982, and he was one of very few. Now I think it's turned around to, I think nearly 70% of people are cremated in Ireland, where they were always.
That is good.
My son.
How do you find that?
By the grave.
Okay. Four souls.
The three.
I guess two.
Not a four-leaf clover. Three.
Got it.
So you can see that part of this building is destroyed. You can see it's destroyed in the storm. Not exactly sure when. We have a drawing of the floor. The floor is destroyed. So we're going to put the drawing of it. But anyway, it's destroyed in the storm. You can see the foundation is still here. You can see where it was next to the building there. Also destroyed by a storm one night was the roof of the round tower. And if you look up, you can just see the wire for the lightning conductor going up the roof. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's a little light. You can't see it today, but there's a little lightning conductor on that. Because that was hit by lightning back in the early 19th century. So we have photographs down in the visitor centre. Keep an eye out for them without the roof on the tower. It was rebuilt in 1876. At that stage, the site had fallen into disrepute really, because we have St. Kevin's Day is the 3rd of June every year, okay? So there was a patron day, what you guys might call patron day. So the 3rd of June was, there was a gathering up here, but like everything in Ireland, it ends up in a big drinking session. So we have a very good painting as well down there from it. So it got a little bit out of hand, so then people decided to get together and try get everything under control here. So the OPW, Office of Public Works, that's who I work for, them and along with some antiquarians, among them William Wilde, Oscar Wilde's father, they all got together and decided to do a bit of work, get it back up and running again. And they rebuilt the roof on the tower. But when it was hit by lightning and collapsed, it collapsed inward. So they were able to use the same stones to rebuild the roof. So it's still the original roof, even though the stones weren't rebuilt. Okay, so we'll head in now and we'll have a little chat in here. All these special effects on the gate. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bell tower. That's the bell tower.
Feel this.
Great, now he's going to shut the door.
What I do now is I ask you a question about the door and you get it right. Okay, so this is St. Kevin's Church, as I say. The stone, I pointed out the stone roof. here outside. You can see this half barrel ceiling that supports that stone roof. So this church dates back to around the 11th century. So it's a beautiful, beautiful structure. There's an air in here. It's a great place. There's great acoustics in here. We have choirs in here. We have had Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood singing in here. Wow. So you're in the footsteps of the famous. If you look there, you'll see these holes here. See them? So that was the beams, that was where the ceiling was. Okay? So that left an attic above that loft, which was a scriptorium. It's where we would have done their manuscripts. So, have you been to the Book of Kells?
Yes.
No. Yeah, you have? Yeah, I thought that, yeah. Well, the Book of Kells wasn't done in Glendalough. One claim we have, a famous book which was scribed in Glendalough, is called the Drummond Missal. Anybody from New York? J.P. Morgan Museum? Well, go up and see the Drummond Missal. That was scribed here in Glendalough. Okay, so this would have been the entrance, the original entrance, not the original door, I'm afraid, but the altar would have been up here. These stones leaning up against the wall here, they're altar stones, so they would have been the altar. There's a little room just here, on the left just here. We always thought it was a sacristy. There is some thought now that maybe it was a cell for the monks, the guys that were doing the scribing. They were a bit more ascetic than the normal run-of-the-mill monk, a bit more disciplined, a bit more reclusive, and maybe that's where they went for the service, and the general congregation was here. Now, if you look through this hall here, you can see the light coming through the bell tower that I pointed out where I said the top of the chimney. So that was the bell tower. In 1971, there was a bell found out the back. Two guys were digging a grave and he found the bell. Brought it down to the local parish priest to see, you know, is this from the bell tower in Kevin's or whatever. Parish priest took it off him and threw it under his bed and never said anything to anybody. And we have a letter down below from 1989, so 18 years later, from the man who found the bell, wanting to know where was the bell he found and what was done with it. And nobody could answer him. And then, coincidentally, just shortly after, the priest died, and he cleared out his house, found the bell under the bed, and it was the bell from the bell tower in St. Kevin's, and it's now in the National Museum in the Glendalough room. Yeah, okay, so, any more questions or anything? Yeah?
Do they have ghost tours here at all?
Ghost? No. No. There is a tour of the graves next week, I think. No. There's all sorts of tours here. If, like, we officially, we run the site, so I don't know if you heard that guy shouting at me at the start. Well, he's not an official sort of, they just come up and dump people here. But other people bring up tours and they're very good. But there's no ghost tours. I wouldn't fancy being here late at night, especially if you're walking past that hole in the tower and the phone rang. That would be good. But no, so other tours, obviously there's tours that move into the hills and the lakes and so on, but the main tour here is the one you're on. I'm trying to think. No, I don't think you have anything like that. You have a procession, you have a couple of processions here. You have lessons of the graves, like any, I don't know what it's like in the US, but all the graveyards in Ireland have a blessing of the graves every year where the local priest will bless the graves, and it's a lovely thing.
Do they have a mass on St. Kevin's Day?
No, don't. The ground, the churches and all are deconsecrated.
Okay.
So we came across a wedding in the cathedral about 3 weeks ago. So I was one on jury, so we had to go. So we're not supposed to have weddings. So they were there. There was only the two people, two photographers and a celebrant. And I couldn't go say. So I sort of hid around the corner till it was over. And then I just went up to the celebrant and said, I'm supposed to be here. You can't.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Well, right, okay. The very next group I had, just half an hour later, they were from some parish in American City, I can't remember which one, and there was a couple of priests with them. And I said it to them, I said, oh, just an hour ago we had a wedding here, and I said to the group, what do you think of that, Father? And he said, that doesn't count. Okay, so I'm going to send this back anyway. You don't want to keep more. You have plenty of time going to the visitor centre or coffee or wherever. So you can go back the way you can, or you can go this way here over the bridge, turn left, and then across the bridge again to see it. Okay? Thank you.